usually get taken down. You have no idea who's watching you.
What I say, what I do, how I move.
So you're the example. They're watching you.
Because he gets a lot of money and he works from home.
They wanted to follow it. Invisible influence. A man doesn't realize that while he's carving his name into the cement, the level of influence that comes from people that you're not even thinking about. And there was a story you told me about two people that were very influenced by you and you didn't even realize it.
Yeah, so my son is 13 now, and about a couple of weeks back, I asked him, I said, hey, high school goes by fast. It's a really short 4 years. You should start thinking about what colleges you're thinking about going to, whether it's out of state, in state, and, kind of just start to plant that seed. And without hesitation, his reaction was, Dad, I want to go to Montclair State University. And I'm like, why do you want to go there? He's like, oh, because that's where you went. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Like, but it's my son. So it's like, I kind of expected it. It's like, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? Oh, whatever my dad does. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, cool. I guess that would be cool, right? For my son to go to the same college I went to and sort of keep the lineage going. And a few weeks after that, I had the family over for dinner, and my nephew is 15. I think he's a sophomore in high school, and I asked him the same question. And without hesitation, he said Montclair State University. And I was kind of taken back. I was like, well, wait a minute. So I asked him the same question, like, why do you want to go there? He's like, oh, I saw you go there and I saw the pictures and it looks like a beautiful school and I want to stay in New Jersey, and he had all these reasons. And it dawned on me, I'm like, wow, I never pushed this particular college to these two individuals, my son and my nephew. But somehow through, invisible influence, they saw, first of all, I was the only college graduate in my family, right? So someone had to break the mold to let the younger generation know, like, hey, uncle did it, like, why can't we do it, right? So I think I was that for them.
Yep.
And that was just me operating. Like, I didn't go to college thinking, the next the next generation of Sanchez's are going to follow my footsteps. But I think just naturally, them trying to navigate the world and saying, all right, which route I'm going to take. They look at their immediate family, right? Uncle, dad, mom, friends, whoever. And they start to pick like their influences, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm happy, I'm proud that I could be that for them.
I've always admired you because you've always got it done from a more chill, calm, not so braggadocious perspective. But you've gotten way more done in one lifetime than most people I know. You never were like the most loudest person in the room. And I think you are an example of the theory that you don't have to be the loudest to lead. And kind of like the theme of this question, or the reason why we wanted to talk about it, is like, you weren't loud, you didn't push it on your kids, you didn't even push it on your family, you just kind of did it yourself, and they're copying you. Even if you didn't intend for them to follow your blueprint, you laid a blueprint and you did it in a way that they wanted to follow it. So you're the example, they're watching you. Like, I think that was the thing that took you away a little bit. You're like, damn, talk about that, because you hit me about it, and you're typically not like that. They're following you, they're watching you. You led without being the loudest in the room.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you don't really think about the decisions you make as affecting or influencing others, but they do, right? And once it's kind of like when you identify that you have a set of influence on people, especially people that you love, it's like you take a step back because you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I got to be extra cautious now of what I say, what I do, how I move, because I got followers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have no idea who's watching you.
You have no
You
idea
don't.
who's watching you.
And
Even
was it your cousin? I mean, I'm sorry, your nephew that caught you by surprise? Because you like, what is your relationship with him? Did you even see that
yeah, I
coming?
mean, yeah, like, I see him every time we have dinners, maybe once a month, but we don't we don't speak daily, right? So I have limited influence on, what he wants to do. So I thought it was interesting that, that's the path he chose to go down. And I'll add one more. My girlfriend's sister's son, she asked him, she was like, "Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?" He's in first grade, so that's like a typical question you ask a kindergartner, first grade. And he goes, "I want to be like Uncle Rich." And she was like, "Uncle Rich? Why do you want to be like Uncle Rich?" He was like, "Because he gets a lot of money and he works from home."
I love that.
Yeah.
It's either you or Kai Sanat. In his mind, you're a fucking streamer. You just chill at home all day
He
and make
does. I have
money.
no idea what I do. He's just like, I just know he has money and he works from his house. He doesn't have to he doesn't have to go to a job. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I this is why I love when you and I have conversations like this, because I'll share something and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, bro, that's called the invisible influence." Like I didn't even know that was a term, and then you hit me with like 5 different videos that you saw on the concept. And
Yeah.
I always love when we could go back and forth, because like, not like you make, when I share this, you make it seem like, oh bro, this is a real thing.
I think we always had a thirst for like a little bit more knowledge that was beyond our immediate community. And I always got into the habit of just reading self development books because I always felt like it gave me like an edge on a lot of my competition and whoever that competition was at any phase of my life. And now what I've gotten into the habit was, which I think we're going to do a segment on a little bit later, which is like habits that change, like really change your life and you wish you would have learned sooner. Was now I spend a lot of my time whenever I have free time listening to audiobooks or actually reading books on like some of the most successful people that have lived hundreds and hundreds of years before us. That's why I told you I got into like Alexander the Great and his father Francis the Great, and like learning all these traits of people who actually lived, and then seeing in 2025, even though we're in the AI revolution and the live streaming revolution and everything's digital, and me and Rich are able to host a high res podcast across the country. Imposter syndrome, because they don't believe that the success they're getting is truly deserved. So what happens is they try to downplay it, they try to minimalize it, they try to like they don't like bragging in front of their parents because they don't want their parents to feel lesser than. And obviously we've talked about that a lot. But a byproduct of that is you're trying to shrink yourself for the older people so they can still relate to you. But you don't realize a lot of the younger people are paying attention to you. And they're looking for examples of people who've made it, and in their mind are living different than the people that they know. So yeah, the internet's incredible because you can find people that are living a life that you've never lived. Right now, if I wanted to see what Singapore looked like, I could see it in HD. And theoretically, I went on vacation to Singapore. But the truth is, there's a big difference between map and terrain. Map is a piece of paper. You can see where you're going. Terrain is actually being on the ground. A hill looks very different on a map than in person. You know what I mean? A waterfall looks very different in a map than in person. And you are the terrain. You're a real life example. You, Rich, you're a real life example. And part of that invisible influence is kind of the wind for a lot of great people's sails because they realize, oh shit, I've been living a smaller life because I don't want to stand out too much in front of my family or the people that I know. I think there's a British saying, it's like the tallest poppy gets cut, meaning, people who brag usually get taken down. And that's something that we kind of have a little bit of us in us. Anyway, so a lot of these books I've read about very important people.
Nah, I appreciate it, bro, and it's likewise on this side. But I think that's interesting, right? Like, one of the things that is super important when you're operating, when you're influencing, right, is it's one thing to tell someone what to do and how to do it, and it's another thing when they've seen you do it. But there's a different level of influence there, right? uh, which is dope. and I think, see, with great power comes great responsibility, right? Like now that I've put some information out there and
Yeah,
I've
here's a
received some
burden. Yeah,
feedback, yeah, not
yeah,
not feel like it's a little bit of a burden because I'm like,
yeah.
oh,
If you smoke a cigarette, now you're like, fuck.
you're flicking it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your nephew's
Um,
gonna be like, "You smoke? I want to smoke." You be like, "Nah, I
no, no,
can't."
no, but this is good. This is new information from me, right? Like now I'm like, wow, I really have the ability to influence the next generation of my last name. And I asked a question, I got some feedback, and now I know they're watching. So
Hmm.
now it's fun. Now it's like, all right, what could I do? You know what I mean? Like, do I get another certification and just show them like all the all the plaques up there, right? Like, do I buy another property and show them like, hey, you can invest in multiple things, right? Like, now it's fun because it's like the more I obtain, the more I achieve, the more they think that it's attainable for them.
Not to get too pseudo political, but the fact that we're even seen as fleas is a whole other. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the certain animals are just left behind because they're insignificant. You only you only matter to the world until you matter to the world. You know, like you only
yeah,
matter to women until you're beneficial to women. You only matter to your employer until you can do something that's of service to the greater mission, which is the person who owns the company needs your services. And the same goes for being an invisible influence on your family. You only matter to the world until you matter to the world. You could think you matter, you could want to matter, but you have to actually do something that contributes to the greater village. So